Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you," sang the upbeat and catchy theme song for Three's Company. The ABC sitcom, which ran for 8 seasons from 1977 to 1984, was based upon the British series Man About the House. Its plot revolved around 3 single roommates: Janet Wood, played by Joyce DeWitt, Chrissy Snode, portrayed by Suzanne Summers, and John Ritter as Jack Tripper. The series began with Tripper, a culinary student, crashing a party only to wake up in Janet and Chrissy's bathtub. After tasting his cooking, they decide to let him be their roommate. Their prudish landlord Stanley Roper at first doesn't approve, thinking such a living arrangement would only lead to, quote, hanky-panky. To keep the co-ed living situation going, Jack poses as a gay man. Hijinks naturally ensue. The series is full of hilarious slapstick humor and far-fetched, farcical situations that benefited heavily from good writing and great casting. Not to discount DeWitt and Summers, but Three's Company arguably wouldn't have been such a success without John Ritter, although Billy Crystal almost landed the role. Even though his story ends in tragedy, let's take a look at Ritter's life and career. He might have contributed something to the world far more valuable than his acting. Keep watching. Born to be a star. John Ritter was born in Burbank, California in 1948. He was born with a rare condition known as coloboma, leaving him blind in his right eye, but it never stopped him from chasing his dreams. He came from what might call entertainment royalty. His father, Tex Ritter, was the singing cowboy and a matinee star, and his mother, Dorothy Fay, was also an actress. When John went to college, he initially majored in psychology and hoped to pursue a career path in politics. But after changing his major, he decided to try his hand out on the stage. His father initially tried to persuade him otherwise, but Ritter was determined to be a star. After heading several productions, he found his way out to television, appearing in shows like MASH and Hawaii Five-0. He made his film debut in Disney's The Barefoot Executive in 1971. Ritter earned his father's approval when he landed his first recurring role as Reverend Matthew Fordwick on The Waltons, which became his dad's favorite show. He left that role in 1976 to play Jack Tripper on Three's Company, and just like that, he became a household name. Ritter actually beat out 50 other people for the role, but at first it looked unlikely the series would ever get off the ground. The first pilot was actually thrown out and had to be revised. After Joyce DeWitt and Susie Lanier Bramlett joined the cast, it did a little bit better, but producers still insisted a change be made. So Lanier Bramlett was cut, and Suzanne Summers was brought in at the last minute to play Chrissy, the stereotypical dumb blonde. Tripper wasn't exactly the most coordinated chef in the world. It's a wonder he was trusted around a kitchen at all. But despite his clumsiness, Ritter brought a special kind of spark to this bumbling character. He was energetic, charming, innocent, and honest almost to a fault. Nobody could have played the role quite like he did. He even earned himself a Golden Globe and Emmy for his work on that series, and rightfully so. The sitcom was canceled in 1984 after its ratings began to drop, but it had a great run. That same year, a spin-off series called Three's a Crowd, starring Mary Carteret, ran for 1 season. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And keep watching to see how John Ritter's death, albeit tragic, wasn't in vain. After Three's Company. In 1982, just 2 years before Three's Company wrapped up, Ritter starred in his first animated film, The Flight of Dragons. In the made-for-TV movie, an evil wizard threatens to conquer the world with dark magic. Ritter played one of the human protagonists, Peter Dickinson. Despite the fact it was a direct-to-video release, The Flight of Dragons was met with mostly positive critical response. He followed that up by starring in the comedy-drama series Hooperman in 1987 as San Francisco police inspector Harry Hooperman. Although it wasn't the first comedy-drama series, it was considered the vanguard of the new genre and helped inspire the term dramedy when critics attempted to describe it. In 1989, he starred in Skin Deep as an alcoholic, womanizing writer whose life slowly starts to fall apart. He followed that role up with Problem Child and Problem Child 2 in 1990 and 91, the first of which was his highest-grossing film. Ritter continued to enjoy modest success throughout the 90s. From 1992 to 95, he starred alongside Billy Bob Thornton in the sitcom Hearts of Fire. The show had a great script with an equally gifted cast, but failed to draw a sizable audience. In 1994, he played Ward Nelson on North, and in 1996, he reunited with Billy Bob Thornton on the set of Sling Blade. Against a budget of just $1 million, Sling Blade went on to gross over $24 million, and according to Rotten Tomatoes, it was Ritter's most critically acclaimed film. In 2000, he landed the voice acting role of Clifford on the popular PBS animated series Clifford the Big Red Dog. In 1999, he married actress Amy Yazbek at the Murphy Theater in Wilmington, Ohio. She's best known for playing Casey Chappell Davenport on the sitcom Wings, which aired from 1994 to 97. She and Ritter had one daughter, Stella, in 1998. Ritter was previously married to Nancy Morgan from 1977 to 96. In that marriage, he had 3 children, Jason, Tyler, and Carly. 8 Simple Rules and his tragic death. Ritter starred in 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter from 2002 until his death. On September 11, 2003, while on set, he began to suffer from severe chest pains, nausea, weakness, and vomiting. He was rushed to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank. Doctors initially thought he was having a heart attack, but he died hours later while in surgery. It was determined his cause of death was aortic dissection. He was only 54 years old. After his death, he was posthumously nominated for an Emmy for his role on 8 Simple Rules. The series continued for another 2 years, with Katie Sagal taking on the lead role, but after the ratings went down, it was canceled in 2005. It just wasn't the same without him. His last 2 films, Clifford's Really Big Movie and Bad Santa, were also dedicated in memory of him. Ritter's wife sued the hospital. When the ER doctors first addressed his condition, they initially gave him aspirin and anticoagulants, thinking he was having a heart attack. As they prepped him for surgery, they discovered the aortic dissection. If they had caught it sooner, not only would they have not given him the anticoagulants, which made the bleeding worse, but he would have been immediately rushed to surgery and might have actually survived. A private funeral was held on September 15, 2003. Ritter was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills Cemetery in Los Angeles. Ritter's widow, Amy Yazbek, subsequently sued the hospital for the wrongful death of her husband. A jury cleared the doctors of blame in 2008, but she was still awarded $9.4 million in an out-of-court settlement. A legacy he would have been proud of. Yazbek went on to form the John Ritter Foundation, which researches and raises awareness for thoracic aortic disease. The organization has come up with what they call the Ritter Rules, which are meant to identify the condition as quickly as possible. For each hour that aortic dissection goes untreated, a patient's likelihood of surviving decreases by 1%. Ritter would no doubt be grateful his death wasn't in vain. His death has raised awareness to the very disease that killed him, and thus has probably saved lives. The world might remember John as a sitcom star, but the Ritter Rules may be his greatest legacy. John Ritter was deeply loved by all who got the opportunity to know him. His co-stars often describe him as having a heart of gold. He was a family man who would gladly put the needs of his wife and family over his own. We'd love to hear from you. Do you remember John Ritter best for his television or film career? Let us know what you think in the comments. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you can stay updated on all our latest content.